what is interesting is that according to Sean King's post, Yemen is considered the 14th poorest country in the world. So why would they go up against Israel and the United States? Well, this is not the first time that they've done this. Back in the early 2000s, when the Bush administration was trying to make a case to go to war in Iraq with that, infamous speech by Colin Powell, Yemen was one of the 15 members of the Security Council. They were not one of the permanent 5, which include the US, UK, France, China, and Russia, but they were one of the 10 members who had rotating seats. Now, when the Security Council voted on whether or not the United States could legally go to war in Iraq, Yemen was the only country to vote no. And this is a well-known story at the UN. According to people who were at the UN at that time, the microphone for the U.S. delegation was on, and somebody, they believe it was the Secretary of State, said, that will be the most expensive no vote you ever cast. And within days, pulled all of the humanitarian aid from Yemen. Now, it's also been said that the United States knew that the microphone was on, and they were trying to send a message to everybody else at the UN. If you go against the United States, there will be consequences. And yet Yemen stood up for the Iraqis, and now they're standing up for the Palestinians. So, they might be considered poor financially, but their soul is right. And I think that we need to use that as an example, that we don't need to be financially wealthy. We don't need to be rich. We need to make sure our soul is right. And I have a lot of Yemenis in my neighborhood. They run the bodegas in my neighborhood. Next time you see the Yemenis, say thank you, because they're really sacrificing the well-being of their own people in order to protect their brothers and sisters in the region. So it really made me happy to see that it was Yemen that stood up for the Palestinians. So anyway, free Palestine.